Hey, I'm John Cannell, and today on Preppy Kitchen, we're making an easy, delicious Mississippi mud cake. So let's get started. First off, set your oven to 350 and prep a 9x13" pan with a little bit of butter or spray. Now, in a medium bowl, I'm adding 2¼ cups or 210 grams of all-purpose flour. In the bowl, it goes in the bowl. I also want 3/4 cup of cocoa powder, that's 60 grams, but natural or Dutch process. They're a little bit different. They both taste chocolatey, but today I want to use natural cocoa powder. It's a bit more acidic and it's going to react with the baking soda to give me a fluffier cake. 60 grams. Cocoa powder is so light. You're like, ooh, adding it. It's like almost nothing. For a bit of contrast, I'm adding 3/4 teaspoon of salt. If you want to use fine-grained salt or iodized salt, lower it to ½ teaspoon. That's saltier and you're going to get more salt in this teaspoon. ½ teaspoon of baking soda. That's for the cocoa powder. And 2 teaspoons of baking powder. 1 and 2. This cake is so good. It comes together really fast and it's one of those pour-on frostings that just soaks into the cake with the melted marshmallows, mind you. Oh my gosh, it's really good. It's like a Texas sheet cake, but of course, it's got something extra in there too. Grab a whisk, say goodbye to your scale for a moment, and we're gonna whisk this up just so it's nice and combined. No streaks of cocoa powder, all uniform. Okay, a lot of cocoa in the air. Set that aside, we're gonna grab a big bowl now and get all our wet ingredients together. Now in a large bowl, I'm adding 2 cups of sugar, that's 400 grams. 1 and 2. 3/4 cup of milk, 180 mils. 1 cup of vegetable oil, 240 mils. In you go. 4 large room temperature eggs. I'm gonna crack these into a separate dish, just to check for shells. Some of you might love this cake already. If you're wondering where this name came from, Mississippi mud cake, it's as simple as this cake looks like Mississippi mud. Mud on the banks of the river, when the waters receded a bit, can get a little crazy, and this cake has quite an interesting appearance once all the icing is on. And I'm finishing this off with a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm gonna grab a whisk. We need a dough whisk today. Mix this up so it's a nice homogeneous mixture. There's no sugar on the bottom. There's no eggs and oil on top. It's all uniform. This looks fantastic. Now add the flour mixture into the wet mixture and we're gonna stir until it is just combined. Do not overmix your cake. That's a recipe for a dense, gummy disaster. I love these Danish dough whisks. They're flat with 2 loops and, 3 loops. They're flat with 3 loops and they get the job done, but they're so easy to clean. And unlike other whisks, the dough does not get stuck inside, so it just makes everything so much easier. They're also great for pancakes and waffles. This looks amazing. So now we're gonna transfer our batter right into our 9x13" prepared baking dish. We're gonna bake this cake for 350 for 30 to 35 minutes or until the center is springy to the touch. But 15 minutes into the bake, we have to start our frosting. So you get a 15-minute break before we get back to work. My cake's been in the oven for 15 minutes and now in a medium pan, I'm adding 1 stick or ½ cup of unsalted butter and we're gonna melt this up and add delicious things to it. While my butter's melting up, you're gonna grab some ingredients. You want 5 tablespoons of milk, that is 75 mils, just under 1/3 cup. You also want to have your cocoa powder and powdered sugar at the ready. All right, now we're gonna whisk in that stuff. 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, Dutch process or natural, it's your choice. There you go. Now we're gonna pour the milk in and whisk it up until it's nice and combined. Now it's time for 3 cups of powdered sugar. Whisk that in, 1 cup at a time, nice and slow, not all together. Whisk that up until it's nice and smooth. This looks totally luscious. And if your cake is not done yet, just keep it warm. So mine's off heat right now. I'll put it back on low for just a minute if it gets too cold. In the meantime, I'm gonna chop some pecans. I definitely want my mini marshmallows, but I also want 1 cup of chopped pecans. It could be fine or rough, totally up to you. Bonus points if you toasted them first. And if you haven't toasted pecans, so easy. You can toast them on a stovetop over medium heat. Just stir constantly until they have a nice nutty flavor. Or at 350 in an oven on a baking sheet, just mix them up every couple minutes. And like in 10 minutes or less, they'll be toasted. But keep mixing because they will burn on the outside. My cake just came out of the oven, and right now, I'm gonna completely cover it with a 10-ounce bag of mini marshmallows. Ooh. Look at this. Here's the deal. Arrange those over the top. There we go. You want the heat from the cake just to start melting the marshmallows so they're nice and gooey. Sprinkle with the chopped pecans. So you have gooey, crunchy, chocolatey, amazing moments here. One thing, if your frosting feels like it's thickening up a little bit or you want it just to be a bit more slack, add a teaspoon to a tablespoon of milk in, whisk it over heat, and it'll wake right back up and be so like just wonderful sheets of chocolate to drizzle over. Now it's time to cover this cake completely in this icing. You can spoon it over, pour it on, or anything in between. Just get some good coverage. You have to act fast though because it sets almost immediately. So if you have a big pool, use the back of your spoon to nudge it away really quickly. Doesn't it taste the same? It'll just lose that glossy effect. Once your cake is close to room temperature, give it a cut and it's ready to enjoy. Why isn't anyone calling this Rocky Road cake? The marshmallows, the chocolate, the nuts, the cake, there is nothing not to like about this cake. And it was so quick and easy. I hope you get a chance to make this recipe, and if you like this video, check out my easy chocolate playlist.